So this is a little sketchbook I've been working on throughout this project. So it's got kind of development bits in it. Things like planning and just little collage bits where I thought things worked nicely together. Like this photo and the print of it. Some of my paintings with some analysis, and then it's got some of these fabric pieces I did. This is the actual fabric piece, and then this is a photocopy onto this lined paper, which I thought was a really nice effect, kind of like school paper. It just was a bit of a layering and gave it more kind of texture. Done same here, same thing, photocopy onto this paper, which gives it more texture. And then on this one, I've actually done the same thing, but I've worked underneath because it's tracing paper, so it's translucent, and I've kind of worked underneath it to give it a bit more depth and layering, which has worked really nicely, I think. And it's nice to see them next to each other like that. With the kind of scraps from those fabric pieces I did, I created this little experimental piece, just again playing around with those lines and some unconscious thinking and this bluey kind of colour scheme. Although I think this could do with some other colours on there, just to bring it to life a little bit. That would be good. I've put in some of my photography inspiration and done some annotation of it, and here I've done the same. So there's some annotation. I've just written about how the lines work really well, and how I like that this character is offset because it feels more accidental, and also I like these kind of feel like almost big rocks, even though it's just a printer error, so that's come out really interesting. Here I used this little like film slide to just frame the people within this image, which I think worked really nicely, so that was quite cool. And then I put in some of my screen printing bits, done some similar kind of annotation, the bits that worked, what didn't work. So I think these I don't really like because the dots are just too much. It's too overwhelming to look at, and that's not what I want my work to be. I want it to be much calmer. I've got this page, which has got kind of other scraps on, got some of the screen printing scraps, but I've said here, loss of definition, these kind of bled a little bit, so all the thin lines, like on this tree, have gone a little bit, so, but it's worked quite nicely here. It's given it quite a nice texture in the sky and things. And then to these, this was just a nice way to practice kind of layering things. I think I'm going to aim towards some collages, so this was a nice way to begin collaging things. This lovely translucent material. Again, I've just taken this fabric piece, which has actually worked quite well, and it's really picked up all the lines, and this lovely heat press print with this metallic on it. And I've done some annotations of it. I've written about how the flower, as it's kind of squished in the first time I did the heat press, it kind of like nothing came up, and then when I second did the heat press to put these silver bits on, obviously the juice that had come off that flower had browned, so it's left quite a nice effect there. I've done some notes on Jane Cornell's work and what I found interesting about it. Ideas for how I could kind of develop my own work, and then this is some of her, or my work inspired by hers. So it's got lots of scraps, letters, scraps of fabric and things. It feels like a really nice kind of journal in a very abstract way. And similarly here, I think the kind of transition from the more pinky shades to the blue shades worked really well. And then these are just paintings that I will show later on in my slides. So this book kind of just shows development really nicely, and how I've gone on to use more colour and things.